Hi everyone, I just wanted to thank everybody for joining me today and talk to you about MetaStock 17 that we just released on last Monday. So I'm going to go through a couple slides here and then we're just going to dive right into everything. So, whoops, excuse me. There we go. All right, so we got some fantastic new features in MetaStock 17. First off, I'm going to talk to you about our QuoteCenter app. It's in one of our new power tools that it's a lot easier for managing your lists and navigating through different types of basically like quotes. You can actually sort it, and I'll kind of go through all this for you as well. We have our new OptionScope. We can now view option chains inside of MetaStock and chart them. It'll actually read the current and legacy file format now in Downloader 17. We've got automatic symbol updates, pre-post market data for real-time users, and also have a lot of new 14 enhanced user abilities. Plus, we've added a new Elliott wave indicators, and we've put a Martin Pring system inside of MetaStock. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So with QuoteCenter, we wanted to make it a little better and easier to manage your different lists that you've got. You can work off of pre-existing lists like the S&P 100, 500, NASDAQ 100, etc. But we also wanted to make it easier to manage your own personal lists as well. So let me just kind of dive right into MetaStock and show you how this all works. So just come over here and open up our Power Console, and as you notice on the left side now, you've got this QuoteCenter and also the OptionScope app. So inside QuoteCenter, you can go by just off of the lists that are built in here automatically, or you can come over here and actually add to it or create your own, or however you want to do it. So these are the ones that we've created, or I've created in here. And what's really nice with the QuoteCenter app is I don't have to load all those 500 symbols in there. I can come down here. Let's just say we want to highlight all those, and I don't want to have those in there, so we can just remove those out if I want, or just open it all directly in QuoteCenter and manage it that way as well. So let me come back over here really quick and load one of those in here. Hang on just a second. We'll just do the NASDAQ 100. Where did it go? Right here. So in here, if you come over here and actually select all of them, right here, now you have that remove selected instruments button. So you just click on that and it'll take those ones out before you actually open it inside of MetaStock. Inside of QuoteCenter. So now you just click on Open QuoteCenter, and I'm going to make this large so everyone can see it. So now you've got these different fields, and I'm using our real-time version, so I'm going to see bid and ask in here, and also just the bid and ask. If I were looking at a future, then I'd have open interest, those kinds of things. But I can sort it by the last high, low, open volume. So if I want to maybe sort it by ones that have a large amount of volume with it, then I can do it that way. If I want to just search or sort it by bid and ask, etc. Now, if I want to come over here and then just save this list, because I've got everything in here the way I like it, just come over here and name it, and then do save. And then I can also manage it through here as well. But here's the other thing that's really nice with QuoteCenter. Let me kind of make this a little large right here, so you can actually have it as.
Do a sound check on go to, just make sure.
Just want to make sure everybody can hear me and go in our GoToWebinar room testing.
Have them type something if they can hear me.
Can anybody in our GoToWebinar room type if you can hear me? Just type in a Y or a yes. Okay, looks like you can hear me now. So inside of the QuoteCenter, like I said, you can have it at its own floating window, so you can move it around however you want. If you have multiple monitors, you can move it around there if you'd like. And then what's really nice, this is what a lot of our customers have been asking for, you can just come over here and double click on it, and it'll open the chart right into MetaStock. And then I can minimize it, and it'll just be one of the fields down here under the MetaStock icon. So it doesn't, get closed or anything like that. You can just continue to open it or have it floating on another monitor. Like at home, I've got 2 monitors, and I have it on one monitor, and then I'll have MetaStock on the other. And it's just a lot easier for me to open up the charts and sort them based on different fields and things like that. So that was a big addition to MetaStock. And the other thing that's nice is if you have like a QuoteCenter list and you want to load those into MetaStock as like an explorer, you can definitely do that as well. It does have a limitation of 600 symbols at one time, but you can, you can definitely manage multiple lists inside of this QuoteCenter app. So that was a big thing that a lot of people have been asking for. You know, can you guys have a quote screen or anything like that that'll just update? And of course, I'm using a real time, but the market's closed, so I'm not getting any data anymore. So that was a big thing that a lot of people have been asking for inside of MetaStock as well. Like I said, there's actually a couple different color themes that we put into it if you want to ever edit those. For those of you that have purchased 17 already, you can come over here and click on that little arrow and do like dark themed or dark and orange, or you can do light themed. I kind of like the dark theme a little better than the others, but you do have that ability as well. So we'll go ahead and just close that out for now. So that's our new QuoteCenter app. Very, very powerful, nice tool, especially if you're end of day or real time. It's just a lot easier to manage all of your lists and view them in like a one window, so you can see all like the open, high, low, close volume and things like that. So, and now we also actually have the ability to look look at options and chart them inside of MetaStock. One thing on here, if you have real time, and let's say you trade over in South America or the Middle East or overseas in London or Europe, whatever, you can actually look at any stock that's optionable for our real-time users. For our end-of-day users, the only options we have available currently is the US options. So if we come over here, back over to MetaStock, we'll open up our Power Console again, and you come down here to OptionScope. And this allows you to set up different filters. You can do expires in 365 days or 30 days. A lot of people do monthly options, so we'll do that. We can do strike prices within 15 or 10, 25, kind of whatever you want to do. Let's do it within 10%. But you can come back and select it all as well once this app is open. And then we'll just do it on let's do a weekly option as well. So you can just select it from the list right here, or if you want to just type it in and you don't want to go searching for it. But we also have a list, for anybody that doesn't know, inside of MetaStock, that we have all the US optionable stocks. As you can see, there's 4,302 of them. So you can just come down the list, select one of them that you want, and then open it up inside of the options. So let's just work off Apple. I'm just going to type it in here for us. Oops. And then just click on enter, and it opens up this new app in here that's the Option Watch. So inside of here, it actually sorts it by you can look at the calls, you can look at the puts, you've got all of the deltas, or excuse me, the Greeks, delta, gamma, theta, vega, rho. You have the implied volatility fill, the open interest, volume, net change. So you got the last, and then you've got bid, ask, expiration date, and strike price. So what you want to do, obviously, with options, you want to look for ones that have those high volumes. And if you come over here inside of Option Watch, and let's say you want to open this option chain, you just double click it. And what it does is it actually opens it up inside of MetaStock. So we'll just minimize this. And then I could change it. I'm in candlesticks right now, but I could change it to a line. A lot of people like to do that, especially if they're charting options, to view it a little better and a little easier. And then what's also really nice in this is I could actually grab this list of options and load this into MetaStock as like a custom list. So if I come back over here, let's get rid of that and do custom list. Let's do new. It's online. And then we'll just do my options. And I can just come over here and paste these in here and then save them as options or as a list inside of MetaStock. So now if I come over here to charts, I'll have one that's actually called my options. It shows up right here. So then you can expand that out and open up these different options that you want. So if you just check the boxes to open whichever ones you want, you can scan these, you can backtest these. Obviously, you don't have a ton of history with them because we only keep the current option quotes available. We don't handle expired options, obviously. So it's just a really nice way if you want to look for options that have a high volume. You can either sort it inside OptionScope, or you can also create a list inside of MetaStock and scan based on that. If you want to do like the top performing options, or you want to look at ones that have any trading signals, things like that. And you can do that all inside of MetaStock and the Option Watch now too. So and then you have your calls on one side, on the left side, and then your puts are all on the right side. And when you have, you can come over here if you want to like re-filter them. You just click on where it says expiration date filters, and you could do, okay, I want to do ones that are expiring on the 29th of November versus all of them that have expiration dates. Then it just filters it back down. And then it'll show you like in and out of the money, blues in the money, the grays out of the money. But if you want to do a little more filtering, then you can do that too. You can do all at the money or in the money, out of the money, and then you have all these different filters that you can do inside of Option Watch. And then if you want to open up a different option inside of the Option Watch program, I don't have to go back to the Power Console. I can just come over here where I have Apple selected as a symbol. I can just do IBM and click and hit enter on my keyboard, and then it'll load all of the IBM options that are available with all of the filters that I have on it. I don't have to go back and redo the filters. It just saves with all of my previous filters. So that was a big thing inside of MetaStock that a lot of people wanted to do, because the only time you could analyze options was if you were a real-time user. There was this Option Watch application inside of our Zenith platform. So that was the only way that you could analyze options, and you were able to chart them in there, but you didn't show you like it does here. It doesn't show you like all the bid, ask, expiration, strike prices, open interest, and the Greeks as well. So it was really nice that way. So let's go ahead and just close that out. I just want to make sure I covered everything with this. So again, the options are available for anybody that's a real-time user in any country around the world, as long as that symbol is optionable. For end-of-day users, there is only the U.S. equity options available for right now. And that does require an additional subscription with the options. So it would cost you an extra $14.95 to get the actual option data inside of MetaStock. So then we actually had a lot of requests for different user friendliness kind of usage in MetaStock, kind of quality of life upgrades. So a lot of people, if you remember, if anybody's been with us for a long time, back in the day we'd call our different experts and formulas by Equus or MS11 or like Profittunity for Bill Williams stuff. Now inside of the program, if you come over here to your indicator list or into your expert advisor, this is an easy example. I'll just make this a little larger for everybody. Okay, so now we have actually a lot of our add-ons and plugins, so you're still going to see those in here, but now you have ones that say Bollinger Bands by MetaStock or Chandler Momentum Oscillator by MetaStock. And then you have like there are some other ones in here, like the Turtle Trader by MetaStock, you know, those kinds of things. So it's a lot easier to just basically sort it alphabetically, a lot easier to find things in the indicator list or Explorer. That's the same way. So if you come over here into Explorer now, where you had the old like Equus system, so like the MACD is now just MACD by MetaStock. If you kind of scroll down your list here, it's just MACD Expert System or MACD by Signal, Momentum Indicators Expert System. Whereas before, all those were Equus and then the actual name of the system. So a lot of people are like, oh, it's kind of a pain in the butt to sort all those and find the right ones. How do I know if it's Equus or MS11? So now we've just made it a lot more user-friendly as far as that goes. Since we're inside the Explorer, another enhanced kind of suggestion from our users was the ability to access the Explorer reports a lot easier. So before you had to come over here to 5-day volume, right-click, and do a report. Now inside of the program, if you're inside, you actually just check the box, and then you have the actual report right here. So you just come over here and click report. You can view all reports or view the report for the selected one. And I just did the selected one, and then you can come back and manage your report a little easier. So it's just a lot faster and easier if you're running explorations and you run a lot of explorations to not have to come back here every time, right click, and then do report. You just check the box and do report. If you have multiple selected, you can do all of them or just the ones that you want. So it's just a lot easier to manage as far as the Explorer. A lot of people also wanted the ability to create custom lists a lot easier. So before you had to come over here to chart and then double click where it says custom online data list, and then you could go through it that way. Now on every tab inside of the Power Console, we have this custom list button. So you just click that, and if you want to do new, you do online instruments, and then just type in your list, test, webinar, and then just type in your symbols. So a lot easier to do it that way as well. Kind of going through all these. You have a lot faster load times. Load's about 40% faster. Sometimes we had some users that would take minutes to load. Now, every time that I open up MetaStock, it's about 10 seconds. So it definitely is a lot quicker and easier. So now, inside of MetaStock, it actually remembers where you left off. That was a big thing where people were like, well, my program crashed or my computer crashed. Well, not my computer, excuse me. My program crashed and I need to reopen it, or you closed it out and forgot to save everything. So now, if I close out of MetaStock and then I reload it, and I'll show you how much quicker this is. So we'll come over here and reload the MetaStock program. And like I said, usually it would take about anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute to load up. Now it's a lot quicker. Just waiting here. So there we go. It's back up now. And then it'll just, again, remember where you left off. So it just keeps me on the chart tab, has my options open. If I didn't want any of those charts open, so I selected not to save them. So it would have, if I had like a template, and let me just kind of do an example here. If I had, let's go to DIA, and I had like a template applied to it. Let's just do the adaptive moving average. If I had this open and then I close out and reopened, then this would pop back up automatically. I don't have to go back and find it or reset my charts. So if you're working with like 8 to 10 charts or like 4 or 5 or whatever, it'll remember that automatically, and you don't have to go back and reopen it and kind of find your work. So it's just a lot easier for you to do that. And then the other thing is a lot of people, when you had to reset your smart charts. So let's say I want to make this as my default template. I'll right click and do save as default template. I want to replace the existing. I'll say yes. So before, let me just show you how you had to clear out your smart charts in order for this to reset. So every chart you open would open this way. I'd have to come down here over to Windows Explorer, and I'd get to the Windows Explorer area, and then I'd have to go to C drive, users, and then had to go to Mets, and then app data, local, Thomson Reuters, MetaStock, and 17, and then we had to go into data on demand cache and delete that folder in order to reset everything. Now, I just close this chart out, and we'll close this one too, and then we'll just come over here to File, delete Smart Charts, yes, and it's done. So now when I come over here to, let's open up the SPY, and we'll do Open Chart, and it automatically opens up with that template that I had applied. If I had a bunch of indicators on there, same thing. So now you don't have to keep doing that long process anymore. So it definitely makes things a lot easier. For people that want to back up their work, now you come over here to File and do Backup User Files. Before it was a long, drawn-out process, and most people would always have to call support in order to do that. So now you just do that, and it saves everything for you. You don't have to go and make sure you don't lose any of your templates or layouts, charts, etc. Just a lot easier to work with. Kind of want to go through all these. So easier to read Power Console, a lot more crisp and cleaner looking. Like I said, easier to create custom lists. You've got that custom list tab on each, custom list button on each tab in the Power Console. When you've got a lot of charts open, let me just open up a couple here. Let's do Apple. And Amazon, and let's open up all those. Let's say, oh, I put the wrong thing in there. All right, just cancel that one out. Okay, so now we've got a couple charts open here. We've got 4 charts. Let's say I'm done for the day, and I just want to close all of them. I'm supposed to do File, Close All. You can do it that way, or if you want to close them one by one, if you come up here and just close the program out. Excuse me, I was going to do Close All instead. Well, you'd actually get this little, I think it's because I'm using Smart Charts, so hang on a second, let me try one other thing. And let's go, let's put this one on here, and then we'll open up a couple others here. Hang on just a minute here. Let's do Y, and then let's choose like Derricott B and open both of those. So now, when you come up here, it should trigger it. Let's see if we can do it. Yep. So now, let's say you had like a bunch of charts open, and you're done for the day and want to close all of them out, you just click on if you want to save all of them or no all of them. These are already pre-built templates, so I don't need to save them. Just do no to all, and it closes them all automatically there for you. So a lot easier to do that. Let me get back to the PowerPoint here. Oh, for those that actually like to adjust data in the downloader, it's actually a lot easier. You can, if you do edit any data, this is all for local data users especially. You can tab through the different fields inside of the local data sheet. And let me just show you one really quick here. Let's just open this one. Oops. Okay, let me clean off this really quick so I can show you what I mean. Okay, so inside here you can actually right click on the chart and do open data sheet. Well, before you had to actually click inside these different fields each time. Now you can just tab through them. So it just made things a lot more user friendly, especially for our end of day local data users using their own data or our data that they've downloaded and saved to their hard drive. So just a lot easier to manage that. And like I had said, the consistent name of items copied in the Power Console, just a lot of user friendliness, quality of life, really making things a lot faster and easier to work with inside the Power Console. So these are all user requests that we put inside of MetaStock 17. So I've already gone through all these. So the last few things I want to go through inside of the new MetaStock is we always get this request. I have a lot of people when they first purchase MetaStock, they always want to have an Elliott wave system. If you're an Elliott wave trader and you like that type of trading style and you look at cycles in the market and things like that, this part of MetaStock 17 is really neat. And I'm not an Elliott wave trader, but I'm starting to kind of understand how the market can work this way. And it was actually, we have a plugin that we used to sell for $299, but we put that inside of MetaStock and we kind of made it a little more simpler, easier to understand, because before with that add-on, it would load about 200 different indicators, and it was actually a pretty big system hog. So we kind of made it, we slimmed it down a little bit, make it a little better. Faster load times, of course, with the charts, because all the formulas were done locally on the chart, so the charts would take forever to load up. And it sometimes does take a little bit of time still, but nothing compared to what it was inside of the previous version. So let's just type in, let's just do Apple again. So again, inside of MetaStock, there's a couple ways of applying a template. Once you have a chart open, you can right-click and choose Apply Template, and then open that up, or excuse me, and then choose the Elliott wave, or come over here in the Power Console on the right side. If you don't ever use this feature, it's pretty handy. Just open the list here, and then you scroll down until you find all these different Elliott waves. So that's how you would access it. But let me kind of explain this a little bit better for everybody. So Elliott waves, the add-on is all based on the work of R.N. Elliott, and he basically created the Elliott wave theory. And again, we already had an add-on that was $200, but we just decided to slim it down and put it inside of MetaStock 17. So you get 3 experts, 6 explorations, and 5 templates. You also have the option, if you want to download the entire add-on that we used to sell. It's not on our website yet to download, but it will be very soon, and then you can just go and install the whole thing if you want to. So R.N. Elliott was an accountant back in the 1800s through the 1900s. Obviously, he died in 1948. But he basically was studying the stock market and kind of realized that it has different cycle patterns. And these are different from bar patterns, like your double tops and your candle patterns. It's basically repeat patterns in the market, or what I would consider to call now cycles. So, and then that's how he came up with the Elliott wave analysis. So the whole principle is you're identifying these, again, different cycles in the market or different patterns to identify the market psychology. And he breaks it down into different types of waves that and I'll go over this in just a second, but he names them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or A, B, C. So it just kind of depends on the trend and the volatility in the market, and also the amplitude as well. So again, it breaks down into 8 different types of waves, and they are, like I said, different than patterns. So what is a wave? A wave is when you have an uptrend and then a breakdown, uptrend, breakdown. So, and he has them numbered different ways, like I said in this example that I'm giving you. You have your wave 1, and then it breaks down to wave 2. You have wave 3 breaks down to wave 4, breaks up to wave 5, and then back down again. So what he uses, or what he talks about in this book is, or actually I need to back up. There's a book out there by I think his name is Robert Proctor, that's called Elliott Wave Theory, and they talk a lot about these different types of waves. So the first one I want to kind of touch on are motive waves, and those are the ones that push the market. So those are the 1 through 5s that I talked about, and that really affects the direction of the market. So you have your 1, 3s, and 5s. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. Whoops. So you have your first one that breaks up, and that's going to be your motive wave, or sorry, I keep forgetting the name of it, the direction wave. And then you have the other one that's the impulse or corrective wave. So the breakdown is your corrective, the break up is your directional, excuse me. So, and that's really what you're looking for on the chart. You're looking for those 1, 3s, and 5s that affect that direction, and then your 2s and 4s that are the interruption waves, and those are the ones that break down. And then you have your corrective waves that are counter trends, which are your A, Bs, and Cs. And those were also labeled as corrections to the motive waves. So you've got your counter trends your corrective waves that are counter trends, and your motive waves that push the market. Again, it still gets a little confusing for me because I'm not an Elliott wave trader, but I'm starting to get into it. And you have the 2 different types of motive waves are impulse and diagonal waves as well. So this is a really good part of MetaStock 17. If you're an Elliott wave trader and you really like to trade this way, it's a really good addition to it. Or if you're just starting to learn Elliott waves, it's also a very good way of understanding how they work. And we've done a little webinar on Elliott waves as well. It's very helpful in understanding how to use this inside of MetaStock too. So let's kind of give you an example. So you see these different motive waves. You got this one in this case is an A, and then you have your B. So those are your corrective, or your motive waves, your directional, and your corrective. So then you have your A and your B, and then clear over here you've got your C, and then inside, so you have like waves within waves as well, and I'll explain this a little bit here. So these are your big long-term waves. So you have your A or number 1 wave, and then you have your 2, and clear over here you got your C or 3, and then you have your 4, or again another one is starting in probably a 5 way down there. But then you've got all these other waves right here within these long-term waves, and that's where the Elliott wave add-on really can help you kind of trade through these different cycles in the market as well. So excuse me. Let's go to the next one. So you have here's your directional, your A, and then your corrective is your B, going all the way up, and then you have another direction wave, excuse me, and then your corrective wave. So let's look at this inside of MetaStock really quick here. So I'm just going to right click on this one and do apply template since the chart was already open. And then I'm going to do the one with, we'll just do low volatility with support and resistance. So as you can see in here now, you've got these long-term waves, and then in between it, you've got these like 2s, 3s, or 1s, 2s, 3s, 4. So it just helps you trade through those different cycles in the market. So as an example, here's your 1 right here, and then you've got your 2, clear over here, and then you've got another 3. So just a different way of identifying these long-term analysis waves. And it's hard to trade through these really long-term areas. That's where you kind of get chopped up in the market, where you have these different, a lot of volatility in between them, and that's where the Elliott wave comes in. Because right here, for example, in this area, you've got your 1 and then your 2, and then 3, 4. So it just helps you trade through those. And what's really nice with this is you actually use an Elliott waves or stochastic RSI inside of this upper window here. And then we're using a demand index on top of it, and then you have your neutral up and down, so colors, your bars, green when it's up or red when it's down for the volume. But on top of that, on top of this part of the add-on, or MetaStock 17 now, if you right-click on the chart and do Expert Advisor and pull up the commentary window, And it takes it a minute to load because it's doing a lot of calculations. One quick thing on that, when you open the Elliott Wave part inside of MetaStock 17, you do want to make sure that you're loading at least 3,500 records. A lot of the times I'll just click on load max data, but if you accidentally forget to load that, you can come down here where the dates are and just double click it, and it'll open up this window. I've got enough data on here now, so I don't have to click that. But if you didn't, then you can click on load max data, and if you'll know that you don't have enough data when you open the commentary window, and it'll give you a bunch of error messages up here. So this is what, it's really nice. It goes through like the different waves. You've got your fast amplitude, normal, and slow. So let me kind of touch on that as well. So like I already talked about, you have your directional waves, your correction waves in the market, and then you've got your waves within waves. So you have those big long-term ones right here where they're bright green and red. Those are like the big long-term waves, and then you have your waves within waves right here. So that's what really, where this add-on as part of MetaStock 17 really comes in handy, because you're able to trade through those, stay out if it's too choppy or too volatile, or be able to trade through it as well. So again, the motive waves are the ones that are pushing the market. The correctives are the counter trends to the market as well. And you got three types of corrective waves. You got your zigzag, your flat, and your triangles. Again, for anybody that understands and knows Elliott waves, this is a great addition to 17. And if you're just starting to learn about Elliott waves, it's a really good part as well. So here's kind of your corrective waves example. You have your A or B or 1 and 2. So you have your motive wave, and then your corrective wave, and then your motive wave, and then your correction waves. So just a good way to identify different reversals in the market and help you trade through a volatile, choppy area. If you're a long-term investor, this would be a really good addition to your set of tools as well. And here's just another example. You got your A corrective wave, your B corrective wave, then you got your C corrective wave. And I've already kind of shown you this on the chart. So, and then you have, let me kind of skip ahead here. I wanted to talk about the volatility of this part. Okay, so measuring volatility is kind of where I was talking about. You've got these different areas on the chart that have, let me kind of zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little easier. So right here you have these 1, 2, 3, 4, and those are your different waves. And the one thing about Elliott waves is when you have your different numbers on here, the Elliott wave 2 can't be below the Elliott wave 1, so it has to, or excuse me, can't be above the Elliott wave 1. So if it breaks up and it doesn't, or the Elliott wave 1 number breaks up, the number 2 that breaks down can't be above the Elliott wave 1. And the same thing goes for like the Elliott wave 4 can't be above the Elliott wave 3. In order for it to be a true Elliott wave, it has to be in the right direction, or basically the right price on the chart. So now that you're looking at your different volatility, you're measuring this as fast amplitude. So we call it 8%, 13, 21, and 34, and it affects the wave type. So this basically just means how far it has to go in order for it to complete the wave. So your 8% is your very short wave right here, would be an example. You've got your moderate, which is 13%. So those are going to be your longer ones, maybe like from here to there. It's going to be a moderate, and then you have your normal. Obviously, the bigger the number, the farther the wave has to travel in order for it to be complete. But see, that's what's nice about this, is it helps you trade through these really volatile areas in the market. So as far as an Elliott wave add-on to MetaStock, like I said, I had a lot of people that would buy it for $299 all the time, and they had no problem paying that much for it. Plus, inside of the templates, let me kind of just show you this as well. So if you want to apply any other templates, there's actually one. We had this big competitor back in the day, and I know a lot of people that still use it, called Advanced Get. Well, he kind of, the creator of this particular add-on, actually created a little system called, he actually named it differently in the add-on, but it's this one right here that actually is very similar to theirs. And I think the person that originally owned the add-on wanted to do that just to kind of duplicate and make something a little less expensive, because you had to buy it for like $3,500, so it It was pretty high in price. Now here's an example of that I didn't load enough data on the chart. You get this error that says error function did not return value. That just means that I don't have enough data loaded. So you just come over to the chart, double click, choose load max data, and choose OK. And then it loads that on the chart, and it should correct that message. Takes it a minute because it's doing all those calculations for you. There you go. So now it'll show me like the fast amplitude is the wave 2, the moderate amplitude is bullish wave 1, and then you got your normal bullish wave 5. And right now our slow amplitude is undefined because it's a lot more longer term on that slowing amplitude. So just an easier way to understand it, it actually uses like different weekly support and resistance, or excuse me, pivot point resistance and support. Talks about different values on the Bollinger Bands, and then it actually has a projected value inside of the commentary window as well. If you come down here, tomorrow's projected high is 76.79, projected low on the top 21-day Bollinger Band is at 77.02. So really neat little add-on. And again, if you own MetaStock 17 and want to download the entire add-on that we used to sell for that $300, you can go on our website and download that through the website. And it's not up there yet, but it will be shortly. And then another addition to the add-on part of the Elliott wave system, if you come over here to explore, you can actually explore on these different conditions as well. So let's just make this bigger. So you come down here if you want to scan on fast amplitude, or you want to scan on impulse waves normal, or you want to scan on waves slowing, or waves normal. So let's just run one real quick here. So if you come over here, check the box where it says Elliott waves, and let's see. Let's just grab. I've got to do online because I didn't download data. So let's do the S&P 100. And then you just start exploration. You want to make sure you're scanning on at least 3,500. In here I've got 4,500 selected. So we'll just start the exploration. And it'll take it a second because I'm using online data, which I do recommend if you do a lot of scanning and you're doing daily scans, using daily data, excuse me, I should clarify that. It is much better to download your data and then run the scan. But even with online data, you saw how fast it was. So in here in the reports, let's kind of go over this. So you have their bull bars, bear bars, your bull stop, bear stop, bull in, and bear in. So right here, we can kind of just sort this. What it is the first number in the reports is what wave it is. So in this case, it was wave 6 or wave 5. And then the next number after it is how many bars ago that happened. So if you want to kind of sort it based on waves, you can do that. For example, right here, United Health, it was a wave number 2 and it happened 27 bars ago. Or wave 3 right here under Philip Morris, it happened 3 bars ago. So an easy way to measure that. So if you're looking at the bull side or the bear side of Elliott waves, you can sort all of this inside of the Explorer. So it's just another great way to identify Elliott waves in the market. If you open up Philip Morris, I'll have to reapply the template, and I can kind of show you what I mean. Oh, right, it keeps it. And you can actually come in here and edit these templates. If you don't like bar charts, you can come over and change it to candlesticks and those kinds of things. So it definitely is something pretty easy to do. So again, like I said, this one, I think I'm on the right template. So let's change templates here real quick. Just go Elliott waves normal. Just waiting for this to load here for you. So yeah, we had, like I said, there was one 3 bars ago with Philip Morris. I'm trying to remember which template it is because it's not showing it on this one, so give me just a minute here. Let's try the high volatility. Can't remember which one it is that goes along with that, but you kind of get the idea. It'll actually count those waves on the chart, so you can understand. I think this one was the one. Yeah, I think it was right there. Yeah, and on this I got a little more data. So anyway, You kind of get the idea. The Explorer is a great way to understand and use Elliott waves to find those different waves of the market if you're looking for the fast or intermediate or normalized, kind of whatever type of amplitude and volatility you want to search for. It definitely is a great addition to MetaStock. We kind of flip back over to our template here, or our PowerPoint. So there's just another example of Elliott waves in MetaStock. And you can scan for them, so you can, like I did just now, so you can scan for wave A, B, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 is coded as the C wave. But again, just like I showed you earlier, this is the wave, and this is how many bars ago it happened after the number. So it's 5 wave dot, and then 971 bars ago, or 47 bars ago, wave 6, so on and so forth. So again, let's kind of just do a recap. The Elliott waves are used to identify market cycles using market psychology. It breaks down into waves that show the different characteristics in the market. It breaks into 8 different types of waves, and again, they're different than patterns like candlestick or bar patterns. So the very last thing that we put inside of MetaStock, we again had another add-on that we used to sell for another $300 or $299 by Martin Pring. It was called Special K. So what he's been in the market since the 70s. He now has like an investment community. He founded Pring Research in '81 and began providing like financial institutions and investors around the world and kind of talking to them about his different system. But since '84, he has published a intermarket review on a monthly market letter or newsletter, what have you, offering long-term synopsis in the world's major financial markets. Also a chairman of Pring Turner Capital Group. So he created this add-on, and we now have added it to MetaStock 17. Again, it sold for $299. We've just put it in here now. So what he does, if you ever use the KST indicator inside of MetaStock, he's just expanded on this. And the KST stands for no sure thing. He's thinking you know for sure where the trend is going or when it's going to break down or have a breakout or a pullback. And so what he's done is the KST is all based on momentum indication, and it's also based on the rate of change. So, and the signal line is a moving average of the KST, and called that Special K. So what it does, and you can kind of see here on the chart, clearly it has, when the moving average breaks above, you got to buy. When it breaks below, you got to sell, and it matches up pretty well with the trend, as you can tell. And he uses this as kind of a pre-predictor of when the market is going to turn. So when you have a turn on up, then you have another turn for a sell, and so on and so forth. So the way you access it inside of MetaStock, let's actually close my charts here, and we've got that new window that pops up. We'll just say no to all, and it closes all of them for me. Just waiting for it all to close. Takes a little longer with the Elliott waves because it's done all those calculations. There we go. Okay, so we'll come back over to the Power Console. We'll do chart, and let's type in IBM, easy one. And then instead of doing Elliott waves over here on the template, we're gonna do, it's under, Special K. So right here, so it's got a daily and a weekly. I'm just gonna open it on a daily chart, so I'll just do Special K daily. And I'm gonna load, I don't wanna load max again, so I'll just do 1250 for the load time, and then I'll open it up on the chart, and then I'll go over this here. And close out of that. Okay. For some reason it didn't attach that. Okay. So let's go back to the PowerPoint so I can explain this a little better. So what this does is it uses a primary trend to shorten intermediate. So his primary trend is that big, thick green indicator here, and that usually is a trend for 9 months to 2 years. It's a very, very long-term trend, but that's his primary trend that he looks for. And then he's got his intermediate, which is usually about 6 weeks to 9 months, and then the short term, which is 2 to 6 weeks. And he basically called this the Special K. So, and what he basically just identifies is kind of another different type of cycle analysis where prices at any one time is going to be influenced by interaction of many different time cycles. And when I say time cycles, I don't mean like 5-minute chart, daily chart, weekly chart. just different cycles in the market. So what he does, he's combined all of it into one. So he looks at the primary trend for reversals at a relatively early stage in the market, but he combines the intermediate, the short, and the long-term frames into one series. And he uses the short term for change in direction, and the indicator usually spots things within about 1 to 2 weeks of buying or shorting opportunities. So just another way to identify different trends in the markets and reversals, and just different ways to identify those nice those trends. And he actually has predicted the reversals in the market quite a few times using this specific indicator. So again, it just kind of break down. It signals primary trend reversals at an early stage. It also tells you when short-term opportunities are developing in that direction. So going back to the chart here, if you look right here, I think it's a little easier just to line it up. So here's like a break up, and then you have a break down right here, or sorry, another break up. Then you have your breakdown. So just like this is the KST, and then here's the special K. I'm not sure why it's not loading that much data. I think let me increase it. See if it'll. There we go. That's better. So here's the special K, and here's your KST indicator. So this one is breaking above. So right here on the chart itself, it colors it green right here. So that's a buy. Over here, it's breaking down. So that's another indication to get out or do a short position. Here's another opportunity right here to be down because it's going down right here. It's actually identifying that reversal in the market. So just an easier way to understand everything. If you want to change the chart, like I said, you can come over here and change it from line to candlesticks. He always used it as a line chart. So just a really good way to identify those different breakouts and reversals in the market. Here's another good indication right here. You got to break down right there. It actually called it before it actually broke down. So that was a really good one. Again, it's never going to be perfect, but it is a very good addition to it. And a lot of people that trade and have been around for a while, trade the different markets, know who Martin Pring is. He's a really good analyst. So, but that is the last edition of the MetaStock 17. Here's kind of the different short-term 2 to 6 weeks. And again, that's how it looks inside of MetaStock. Here's another chart for you there. It has an expert advisor as well. But here's a good explanation here. The green KSD means the special K is an agreement to bullish. The red KSD plus special K in agreement to bearish. And the black, there's no agreement to the KSD and special K. So just kind of basically being out of the market at that point. So, and then you can actually come in here and explore. There's also that part of the special K as well. You just come down here and you do special K. I'm just looking for it here, right here. You can do special, oops. There we go. Special K, possible slope, primary buy. Special K, max buy and primary bull, or max sell and primary bull. So if you just want to do like special K, negative slope, primary sell, and then you can load your list in here. Oops. We'll just run the same list on the S&P 100, and we'll just start exploration. Actually, let me cancel this because I put the Elliott wave on there too. I'll just let it go. So the first one we're not going to pay attention to. We'll just do that second one. Okay, so here's the special K primary sell. Here's the special K moving average, and then it's got the slopes right here as well. So however you want to sort it, but if you open up Visa right here, and then we'll attach the expert. Not sure why mine's not attaching here. Okay, and I think I need to load a little bit more data, so let's just load max data on here. Now it identifies that primary trend here. Let's change this to candlestick so everybody can kind of see what it's doing here. So again, right here, perfect example. Starting to break above, you're in the buy zone. Again, above in the buy zone, that black is where you should be staying neutral. So just a really easy way to identify the trends and reversals in the market. It's a really good addition to MetaStock 17. A lot of people that have already ordered it really like the two new systems that are built into the software. There was a ton of work that went into the new version of MetaStock. So for those There was actually one other thing. For those that really like the RMO, I have a lot of customers that really like the RMO, and kind of their biggest issue with it was that there was no commentary window. So if you right-click on the chart, and we'll apply the RMO now on here, just come down where it says RMO Trade Model. Inside of MetaStock, you can just right-click and do commentary. If you already had it open, it would just automatically refresh with the new commentary of RMO. So right now we're in the we're in the bullish position, and here what he has done, or what we asked Rahul to do, is kind of do a write-up on the different setups and buys, the way you actually trade through it. So he has right here inside the commentary window for buy setup, we need to identify the bar is blue in color, which has a preceding by a blue arrow. Most importantly, the RMO should also be positive, so this one up here above needs to be positive in order for the RMO to signify that it's a good trade. So as an example, easy way to look at this, the RMO right here in top, the top one is your main indicator. So you want to make sure that's above the 0 line if you're going to be in a bullish position, or below if you're going to be in a bearish position. Then you need to make sure these two indicators, the swing 2 and 3, are crossing each other. In this case, the magenta is crossing above the blue, so that would identify a buy. You've gotten a new blue bar along with a signal. So this would be a entry point at that time, and it'll tell you where, if you're going to be bullish or bearish. Let's actually go back on the signal. So in this case, the RMO is bullish, the bar is blue, and your last arrow is up. So, and then it kind of gives you, like, if you're looking for earlier reversal signals, live market scanner access to all the Rahul Mahinda strategies is recommended. And then he talks about his extra add-on if you do want to get a little more deeper in the RMO that he sells. So you can also come over here if you want to do a scan on that. Come back to the Power Console here. We'll do Explore. Let's uncheck the Elliott wave and the other one. So we'll just uncheck the box here. So let's say you just want to search for RMO bullish and buy signals. So you just come down here where it has RMO. So you do bullish, and then we'll do a new blue bar, which if we have a new blue bar, then that should be triggering a buy signal within the next couple bars. So we'll go ahead and just click on Start Exploration, and we're going to use the results from the bullish and scan on those for the new blue bar. And this is using online data. If you're using local data, it does run, or tend to run, a little quicker. So let's see if we get results. So we do have a couple here. So let's open up Lockheed Martin and see how we end up there. So I still have the other template going as my main one. So we'll go back here. And we've gotten a new blue bar. Looks like we are crossing on our swing trade 2 and 3, and we are in a bullish position on the main RMO. Plus you can use the ribbon down here to match it up as well. So what you'd wait for, if you could get in on the new blue bar, or a lot of people want to wait for a signal to make sure it's 100% going to be a good trade. Once you get that signal, that's when you should be really into the trade at that point. Okay, so just kind of recapping everything we talked about in the new version, you got the QuoteCenter app, easier for managing your lists and creating different lists in the market. You can sort it by open, high, low, closed volume, bid, ask. If you look at futures, open interest, it's just a lot easier to manage those kinds of things. OptionScope, great for viewing options inside of the software. You can chart options. You get access to the strike price, the expirations, the Greeks, all the different things that you need as an options trader. If you use local data and have old data files that you want to import into MetaStock 17, you can definitely do that now, because the downloader 17 will read those files. This also goes for people that use another program outside of MetaStock. I have people that like to use MetaStock and OmniTrader. Well, now you can use just downloader 17 to convert those files into the format that OmniTrader can read. Automatic symbol database updates. Oh, one thing I didn't touch on is that pre and post market. So if you come over here to your chart and go chart properties and go to trading sessions, if you're a real-time user, you can just check the box that says pre and post market data, and then you click OK, and the chart reloads with pre and post market data. And then you got those enhanced user abilities, the deleting smart charts, the backups, the close all, and then you do no to all or yes to all for saving them. your new Elliott wave system, Martin Pring as well. So just a really fantastic upgrade. It was probably one of our biggest upgrades. And the other thing that we do for those that actually do want to upgrade and maybe want some help with understanding everything, we actually offer what we call our white glove service, that any of our support reps or one of our support reps will call you and give you like a one-on-one walkthrough. We can schedule those for you as well. Plus, with the upgrade, you get the free training, Unleash the Power of MetaStock, and videos that go along with it. So for those that haven't upgraded yet and would like to upgrade, in the webinar today, we're actually doing upgrades at a really special price. So if you attend the webinar and want to upgrade and you give me a call directly, you can upgrade for 16 owners for $149, and anybody that's 15 and earlier for end of day guys, that's $249. For real time, it would be $229 for 16 owners and $329 for 15 owners. And then you also get the Unleash the Power of MetaStock. This is for new customers. So if you are a new user to MetaStock, and you can get these prices as well. Well, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming out today and appreciate the time that you took to spend with me and learning a little more about MetaStock 17. But if you would like to order, you can definitely give us a call and ask for Dave. I'm only Dave in sales, and I'd be happy to answer any additional questions. I do appreciate everybody joining us today. Hunter, were there any questions on the YouTube site? Okay. Doesn't look like we have any questions, but appreciate everybody coming out today. And like I said, if you do want to order that and get that special offer, definitely give us a call and ask for Dave in the sales department. Thanks so much. Have a great day.